Okay, just found out this afternoon that the nursing home that my dad is in is ending their Medicaid contracts. And he has until September 15th to figure out what to do. And so I've just been down the rabbit hole to try to figure out why would a nursing home end their Medicaid contracts.
So it's because of the big beautiful bill. I'm going to save you the trouble of going through a deep dive. That's why this is happening. Because I don't think people realize that 65% of nursing home residents are covered by Medicaid. So what did y'all think was going to happen when Congress just passed the big beautiful bill and Donald Trump signed it into law, which had nearly $1 trillion worth of Medicaid funding cuts in it? I mean, it's going to shift the burden of cost over to the states, and a lot of states are not going to be able to eat that cost without jacking up taxes or cutting other benefits, so they're going to cut Medicaid funding. And nursing homes have to respond to that. So the way they're going to respond is a couple of ways. One is they're going to just restrict the amount of Medicaid patients they accept into their facilities. Two is that they're just going to boot out already existing Medicaid patients to open up those beds for private pay patients so that they can still make money. Or they're just going to shut down entirely because they can't function without that Medicaid funding. Any of those scenarios is just going to be devastating to the vulnerable patient population that requires skilled nursing facilities for care. Those are elderly patients and disabled patients. And what's going to happen to those patients? You can't just throw them out on the street. A lot of them are just going to have to go back home and live with their families, who are going to have to figure out how to make that work, how to provide the skilled nursing care that they were getting at a nursing facility at home. A lot of patients who were in the hospital, who are ready for discharge, who would normally go to a nursing home, they're just going to be sitting in the hospital till we figure out a way to get them home safely. And that's going to cause a lot of delays in care because it's going to cause backup in the hospital, and patients are going to be waiting in the emergency room, and emergency room waits are going to be longer and longer because the hospital just can't discharge patients because they have nowhere to go. So this is a direct result of the big beautiful bill that Donald Trump campaigned upon that was in Project 2025. And elections have consequences, and despite knowing all of this beforehand, a lot of people still voted for it. A lot of people who have elderly parents in nursing homes. So this is going to impact every single one of us. And I don't know what to tell you, but it's because of the big beautiful bill. So there you have it.
Did you guys see that woman talking about her father getting kicked out of the nursing home? Well, apparently the nursing homes are kicking out their Medicare patients. And she was like, why would they do that? And everyone in the comments was like, honey, this is what you voted for. This is Medicare cuts. This is the big, beautiful bill. And she was like, no, that's not it. Yes, it is. I work in skilled nursing. 90% of the residents that are in there, they are Medicare patients. These buildings stay open because of Medicare. They will close down. They will not care for your aging parents and grandparents for free. They will send them home to you. You will have to quit your job and stay home and take care of them. That means you're going to have to be the caregiver for your father, your husband, your kids. You're going to have to quit your job. You're going to do all this on half the income for your household. This economy is going to suffer greatly when these places start closing down. This is one of the reasons, this is the main reason why I did not want to rely on the U.S. for my income while I'm living abroad. The economy here is bound to crash. When you cut Medicare like that and these places close, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. The dollar is going to suffer. There is no forethought with these people. They have no idea what is happening.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I really appreciate your massive love and support. As you know, I'm your presenter, Judy. The elderly people are getting kicked out of nursing homes, and homelessness is going to be high in the United States, though right now I heard that it's being considered as illegal. There is no Medicaid, the Republicans slashed it. Medicare, Republicans slashed it. SNAP benefits. And now, these are the effects of the so-called big beautiful bill. Some of the palm-colored people are so outraged that the elderly are getting kicked out of the nursing homes. What if they don't have their families? Where are they going to? What if their families can't afford healthcare? Where are they going to be helped? Anyway, let's dive in. Kindly give the video a thumbs up, and if you are coming across the channel for the first time, consider subscribing.
Well, I just spoke to my mother who's in the nursing home. You know, she and my family have told me for the past 10 years to keep my mouth shut and to not offend people with my, political views, because my political views are let's take care of people. Let's not be assholes. And let's not lie about facts. Because immigrants are not more dangerous than the men that have my skin color. Never have been. Never will be. Ever. We are the predators. It's on every single map. It's charts and graphs, man. If you have problems with numbers, it's basic charts and graphs. Okay, but I digress. My mom called. She's already heard about what's happening at the nursing homes because she lives in a nursing home. Thank God my brother put her in a nursing home in Kansas and not Missouri. That's her only hope, is that she's in a blue state. Of course, Kansas is still full of a whole bunch of, my dad used to say, sunflowers and sons of bitches, but I loved Kansas. Missouri's the sons of bitches. Missouri's holding a special election, trying to get everybody redistricted because they are the bootlickinest bookin'. What does Trump have on them? He's holding everybody hostage. But now, here's where they fucked up. They passed that big, beautiful bill, and everyone said, oh, we're going to get all these people that don't deserve Medicaid off of Medicaid. But whatever. Y'all that don't understand how anything works, that's not how it works. There's nobody on Medicaid that doesn't fully qualify for Medicaid. They only look through your doctor's records. Idiots. Okay, but my mom called, and she's not sure what she's going to do. And the only good thing, and if this video got out to my brother, he would say, yeah, there's my sister. We told that mother never to vote for Donald Trump. My brother there are familial responsibilities in 29 states out of 50. And what that means is, it's a little known fact that children are responsible for their parents. That's for their food, clothing, housing, and medical care. The children are financially responsible for their parents. Now, you may have had a bad mom. You may have had a horrible dad. But because of the fact that they are your parent, there is a little known fact called a filial, F-I-L-L-A-L, I believe it is, responsibility. Means that you are responsible for all of the bills, for all of your mother's medication, for all of your mother's welfare, for her clothes, for her food. Oh, she's not going to get SNAP benefits because we already cut all the SNAP benefits. So I hope you don't mind working a third job to take care of your mom. And I told my mom this afternoon, good thing her son's Republican. The only family member in our family that is Republican is one of my brothers. And we don't know what the f happened to him. I mean, we're all Democrats. As far as the eye can see, we've got one lone Republican, but he's the one that insisted on voting for Donnie John. So now he's going to be finding out because I have one brother that is not super healthy, not able to take care of my mother. And then I'm out here in California. I'm not bringing her out here. I don't even have a place to live out here where I could take care of her. Dadgummit. I saw a gal that was a physical therapy tech, and she's like, well, they said they were going to send my dad home from the nursing home. So I went down a rabbit hole. What kind of rabbit hole? We've been telling you they were lying. We told you they were lying. You don't need to go down a rabbit hole. All you need to do is listen to other humans. See, the only way that we were able to come from the East Coast to the West Coast is we got into a wagon trail with a bunch of other people and we circled our wagons together. We've always done that since the beginning of humanity. We listen to each other and take advice from each other. That's how we survive in this big, crazy, fucked up place called Earth. We have done that since we began speaking. We chose a leader, the person that was the smartest, the person that was the most qualified, no matter what color their skin was, and no matter where they went to college, or even if they had a cackly laugh. Apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene is sick of the good old boys club. You think? You think? The whole thing is a good old boys club. Trump is out here saying today that he's not going to give federal funds to anybody that doesn't support all of Israel's companies. You don't think he's not holding something over on those people? The Republicans that keep bending to him? Would you bend to that man? Can you imagine what it's like to be his wife? Can you imagine what that disaster is like? Every time she says something happened, he says, no, it didn't. Every time she wants to talk about something, all he's got coming out of his mouth are lies, lies, lies. Just more lies. Lies for her and lies for him. Lies for all of them. Because all they do is lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. So we have disabled people in our red states trying to decide, can I get to another country Or do I just have to have a plan B here? Because I will not sit here with no food, no medicine, and no place to live. We've abandoned our elderly. And the people that act like they're surprised, we often told you this was going to happen. But see, the big, beautiful bill passage wasn't supposed to go into effect until after the 2026 elections. So they were smart enough. Oh, and a lot of things won't even go into effect until after the 2028 elections. Because your old boy's building himself a grand ballroom with gold chairs that he can just be hanging over. Dudes, the Republicans are in for a shock. 29 states where it is the adult children's responsibility to pay for everything for grandma and grandpa. You got a spouse that needs extended care? But he's coming home now. We have no place to put our Alzheimer's people. We have no place to put our dementia people. We have no place to put our Parkinson's people. We have no place to put people after they've had a stroke. We have no place. Because see, what used to happen is people used to have things like health insurance that paid for nursing home care and long-term care. Didn't pay for it anymore. See, because our health insurance CEOs, they just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. They're the gatekeeper that keep us from our own medical care. Only place you're going to get good medical care for your grandma? Mexico. Hopefully you can get her down in Mexico City or Canada. Hopefully you have some sort of big in-demand job, which is one of the reasons why if you are an older woman, I don't care if you never wanted to be a nurse, if you never wanted to be a nurse anesthetist, if you never wanted to be a nurse practitioner, sucks to suck, now might be the time. If you thought you were too old, I tell you, one of the reasons, they're always going to need healthcare people everywhere. I don't care if you're an ambulance driver, I don't care what, but if you may need to get out of this country with your mother in order to get her care. I went through this a couple of years ago, saying that I wanted to move my mother to Ireland, where she would receive care. She was too scared. She didn't want to leave Kansas City. Thank God my brother got her to Kansas and got her over to the Kansas side, where she's now on Medicaid from Kansas. She knows what's happening. These elderly people are going to be tossed in the street because these for-profit businesses, and they are all for profit, are not going to keep grandma and grandpa pay for their meds, pay for everything when they are not getting paid back by Medicaid. They won't be able to staff the place. The only way that any hospital stays staffed is through Medicaid reimbursements. And when those dry up, which they will, because our dumb friends thought that this Medicaid cut was only going to hurt able-bodied young men living in their mother's basement. Because the Republicans are lying. That's all they do is lie. So call your grandma or see her while you can while she's still here. Is this going to be bad?
Well, guys, welcome back. During the passing of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, some of the Republicans really celebrated that the Big Beautiful Bill is going to make America great again. And they were even telling people to stop complaining, especially the liberals, that liberals only like crying. But they actually saw whatever is going to happen in the near future. That's why they were saying that the Republicans are slashing the Medicare, Medicaid, and the SNAP benefits. But I think people are doing mistake and they really don't want to admit that they have done a mistake. So, guys, these are the effects of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. It has already started. The elderly are getting kicked out of the nursing homes. People are so outraged, and you know how expensive the healthcare is in the United States right now. Some people can't even afford getting to the hospital to be treated. The insurance is so expensive. So, you know what the Americans were saying, that what if we stop paying the insurance and we start using cash? What if we stop paying for the taxes? What if we start taxing the billionaires? Do you think the economy will come back to normal? Those are some of the suggestions that people had. And I think the homelessness is going to rise in the United States, because if these elderlies are getting kicked out of the nursing homes, where do you expect them to go to? What if some of them didn't have families? They only depended on the nursing homes. What if those who have families can't afford the health care. They don't have insurance that will enable them to take care of their elderlies. Do you think it will be possible in the United States to live? I also read somewhere that some of the elderly people, they are a couple, two of them, they unalived themselves when they heard that the so-called big beautiful bill is being passed, because they knew that that's the end of them. So they knew that they can't afford health care and there was no need to continue with life. They ended up unaliving themselves. It is so ridiculous whatever is happening in the United States right now. And if the government could be caring about its citizens, it could have already taken an action right now. But more people are going to die in the United States just because they can't afford health care. And even booking for appointment, for you to get that appointment to go and visit a doctor, it's not easy. I've been seeing people complaining that it takes even 6 months, 1 year for you to get an appointment to visit the doctor. And that's why majority of them right now are migrating to other countries. They are relocating, fleeing away from the United States because of how the situation is there. And even those workers who are working in the nursing homes, do you think they will still continue working if they're not getting any pay? It won't be easy. People are going to lose their jobs. Some of the hospitals have started closing down because they were so dependent on the Medicaid. Some people depended on the Medicaid for their cancer treatment, for them to get that insulin to survive. And now the Republicans decided to slash it. Then they start claiming that they are making America great again. Is it great again yet? Is this the way you can make America great again? Honestly, no. Because before we knew that America is the land of free, that America cares for everyone, is it still caring for everyone? What if Americans start taxing the billionaires? Why don't they tax the billionaires? Or why don't billionaires tax themselves so that they can help save the country? Like, they want the poor to be so poor and they want the rich to get richer. They want, like, they are so tired of elderly living in the United States. Why don't they be so caring about people's lives? Because this is what they promised during the campaigns, that they will be taking care of everyone. Are they taking care of everyone? Why don't they use the taxpayers' money they used to build the alligator Alcatraz to help these elderly people? Why don't they use that money that they use for the ICE to raid the immigrants to help the elderly people in the nursing homes? Why don't they just cap this problem right now before it goes further? Because the way America is right now is even scary. There should be a call to action, because if they wait for long, everything is going to be bad. The economy already is crumbling down. The groceries are already high. So I was just trying to imagine that if these elderlies goes back to their homes and the grocery is already expensive, how are these people going to afford food and at the same time afford healthcare in the United States? And you also need to pay for the insurance, to pay for the mortgage, because your family are taking care of you. Your family also need to go and work, and people are getting laid off still. People don't have jobs. They are encouraging people to go to school to get good jobs, and at the end of your career you don't have any good job that is paying you well. Americans are giving up. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this. Let's keep the conversation going and also learn from each other. Until next time, I'm your presenter, Judy. Let's meet on my next episode.